Hello everybody, Tim Knight, and it is definitely time for a video. Give me an opportunity to share some thoughts with you and also catch up on some major indexes. The first thing I want to mention just briefly and in passing is this post right here. Just to explain, I composed this as a parody. And it was supposed to be an allegory about what's going on with the president declaring his victory and threatening Supreme Court action if he doesn't get his way. And so, I tend to think in metaphors and allegories and analogs. And so I told this little tale about I'm worth $100 million and da 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 da. So it was meant to be cute and mildly amusing and maybe even thought provoking. It was never meant to be taken seriously, and it seems most people did. I got compliments and kudos and nice emails and admiration. And I have a couple of reactions to that. One, I thought that I composed it so obviously in a parodiacal way that there's no way anybody could confuse it with the truth. I was mistaken. And secondly, I feel oddly guilty because I don't take the trust my readers have in me lightly. And I feel that I've deceived you, even though that was never my intent. So suffice it to say, I am not a centimillionaire. I am comfortable. Not that that's germane to our relationship, but no congratulations are in order. And don't plan on kidnapping my dogs and holding them for $40 million in ransom because you're not going to get it. I am not a rich man. Anyway, a little surprised, but there, cleared the air. The second thing I wanted to say is I think things went pretty civilly in our community. And I don't think that we need to praise ourselves for that. I think just in general, the nation as a whole, there was all this yik yak about, civil war and threats and scary voting confrontations. None of that happened. America, for all its foibles and loud voices, has been and continues to be a pretty centrist country, and not prone to wild things. And so I am pleased that even though there's votes still to be counted and some discord, that nothing horrendous happened either in the world at large or in our tiny, tiny, tiny corner of the interwebs. So, yay, slopers. Having said all that, let me just walk through some indexes and share a few thoughts. For myself, I continue to be participating but light in the market. I've got 34 short positions. Every single one is in the green, not massively, but they are, and it's psychological comfort to me. Even if it's $1, I'll happily take it. It was a profitable day, thanks to the small caps and banks being weak. And I will tiptoe back into the waters if things kind of start breaking down. We'll see. Here's the Dow Jones Composite. Pretty spiffy. We've got a big old shooting star pattern right there. Pretty sweet. I guess the Util was to be credited for that. But what we've got here over the course of, from basically for the year is, here is nobody on the planet ever heard of this thing called COVID. Fell to pieces, climb, 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 climb. And the closest we got to a lifetime high was really just a few weeks ago. And we started sinking. And the cool thing is that here's the trend line, which was broken, and the tippy top of today's shooting star just about kissed the underside of that, very clean. So, of course, my dream chart would be to never cross that high that we had today and just to work our way lower. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but obviously at some point it would need to break the support to get things really going. But this is quite impressive how we just had this explosive move. On the Dow, it was like over 2,000 points, and all it did is just pat the bottom of the trend line on the face and then retreat. Tech was very strong today. I guess the tech companies are figuring that the new administration, should it come to be, Biden will be nicer to them. But this was nothing definitive. Obviously no lifetime high, didn't even beat the most recent lower high. Just kind of partook in the benefits of what seems a probable outcome. Gold, unlike Bitcoin, which continues to thrive, Gold continues to stink. The gold bugs index was down 2.41%, and we flipped away from that horizontal that I've drawn right there. I'll spend just a few moments on some of these and a little bit more on others. The Dow itself is kind of interesting because what we've been carving out here is a series of lower highs. So here's lifetime high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And I haven't drawn it, but there's actually a nice little channel, a downward channel going on right there, which is, if you, in your mind's eye, just imagine a line parallel to this one, like so, connecting those lower lows. So that's pretty spiffy. NDX tech again, same deal. Obviously, it's the CompQ, strong day, lower high not busted, just kind of going boink. OEX, kind of the same deal. A series of lower highs, peak, lower high, lower high. Now the Russell is fixation of mine. That was barely changed. I mean, might as well just call it unchanged. 0.05 or something like that. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Recently, it's been within the confines of this ascending channel. And quite obviously, by definition, has to break that lower trend line to get anything interesting going. But it's been neatly confined by this trend line and the supporting trend line beneath. The S&P 500, it goes without saying, very, very similar to the 100, like so. Still range bound, still a series of lower highs. I made mention of the utils here, and let's just draw another horizontal to define the recent breakout and the successful test. So horizontal line like so, and we go like zoink. That may have been zoinked in the wrong place, like so. All right. So here we have that. And so this is still bullishly configured. It would take a failure of that line to change that. Volatility has been escaping the tire. Somebody slashed the sucker. Big tumble in here. We've gone from the 40s down to the 20s in just a matter of days. Pretty extraordinary, but not shocking. I mean, the election, in a way, the election is done, and of course, in another way, it's not done, because there's nothing conclusive drawn from that. Broker-dealer index has been exceptionally high, very near a lifetime high. This was the tippy top. I mean, of course, this is the day that E-Trade was acquired, of course, and that was the millisecond that the market started like plummeting. We're just about there again. Major market index, quite a bit lower than its own peak. Here was the peak right here, plunge, and then an attempt to push higher, pushed back every single time. So that actually kind of, that's enough. That kind of wraps up what I've got to say about the indexes. It's like the old saying about opinions. You know, everybody's got one, and predictions, same thing. My hunch at this point is along these lines. I think Biden will be declared the winner. I think Trump will not like that and will unleash all the legal tools at his disposal. It may well go to the Supreme Court. And I know the assumption is that, oh, he's packed the Supreme Court and they're just going to rubber stamp anything he says and he'll be president. So I will go on record with my prediction. I think he will go to the Supreme Court. And I will use nice language here. I think that to the shock of everyone, they will basically tell him to go fly a kite. I will augment that prediction by saying that should that transpire, and this is where the subject title of this post comes from, I think he's going into full-blown scorched earth mode. He's going to pardon everybody, including himself, while he still has the time. And he's going to do everything in his power to get everything he can and harm everyone he dislikes, hates, while he's in power. It's going to be scorched earth, and the clock will be ticking, and he's going to do everything he can. That's my prediction. Supreme Court, they flip him the bird, and he goes ape. Kept this G-rated. Good for me. All right, that's it. Thanks for being decent to one another. Please keep doing that.